Here's why you play Kaja, the Nazar King, as a roamer. First off, he possesses excellent pick-off potential with his ultimate, allowing him to isolate and secure kills on key targets. He has high mobility thanks to his second skill, enabling him to engage or escape when necessary. Kaja also excels in team fights as his abilities provide crowd control and sustain while weakening enemies. However, Kaja is relatively squishy for tanky support and has a short ultimate range, meaning he needs to position well to maximize his impact. Kaja's passive, Rough Sanction, allows Kaja to achieve this passive every 6 seconds. His next basic attack will send lightning at enemies, dealing magic damage based on his total magic power and a percentage of the target's max HP. The lightning jumps to nearby enemies and slows them while also reducing their damage output. This makes Kaja effective at weakening enemies and dealing consistent poke damage in fights. Kaja's first skill, Ring of Order, releases a ring electric blade that expands and contracts, dealing magic damage to enemies it touches. Each hit slows enemies and briefly reveals their position. This skill also provides self-healing, making it useful for sustain in fights and poke damage in lane. Kaja's second skill, Lightning Bomb, dashes in the target direction, dropping 3 lightning bombs along the way. These bombs explode upon contact with enemies, dealing magic damage and applying a slow effect. This skill is crucial for mobility, allowing Kaja to chase enemies, escape bad situations, or reposition during fights. Kaja's ultimate, Divine Judgment, locks onto a target enemy hero, dealing magic damage and suppressing them for 1.5 seconds. During this time, he can drag the enemy with him, making it one of the strongest pick-off tools in the game. This ability is best used to isolate high-priority targets like enemy carries, ensuring they get bursted down by Kaja's team. A typical skill combo for Kaja is to start with his ultimate to suppress an important target, and immediately follow up with his second skill to drag them close to your team. Finally, finish off with her skill to deal additional damage and slow them down, while gaining some sustain. Moving on to builds, I usually build Conceal Tough Boots, Dominance Eyes, Fleeting Time, Athena Shield, Immortality, and finally Antique Cuirass. These are the emblems that go along with this build. As for battle spells, the best battle spells for Kaja in my opinion are Flicker, which helps Kaja reposition after using ultimate for better target isolation. Kaja counters assassins that rely on mobility such as Fanny and Lancelot because his ultimate can completely shut them down. He also does well against slippery heroes like Link who struggle once they are locked in place. However, Kaja is countered by marksmen or mages with long range such as Layla and Farsa, since his ultimate requires him to be close to his target, leaving him vulnerable to poke damage. Kaja works best with high burst damage heroes like Eudora and Aemon, who can quickly eliminate a target once Kaja pulls them in. You upgrade first skill level 1 and prioritize upgrading first skill for damage and sustain. Upgrade second skills of backup for mobility, and most importantly, upgrade the ultimate whenever available. Kaja is best played as an aggressive roamer who looks for pick-off opportunities. Position yourself in bushes to ambush enemies and use ultimate to pull high priority targets to your team. Always communicate with your team before engaging, as Kaja heavily relies on follow-up damage. His second skill can be used both offensively and defensively, so use it wisely to either chase or escape. During team fights, don't just focus on using your ultimate. Use first skill to poke enemies and reduce their damage output. Lastly, always track enemy battle spell usage, as Flicker can easily dodge your ultimate.